Okay, I'll call the meeting order at 7. First on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next thing, the ADA Title VI grievance forms as well as a voluntary public announcement involvement survey are available in the hanging wall file for anyone interested. Tonight's meeting is being streamed on YouTube, so Nathan, I'll watch your language.
I'll try.
Next is the approval of minutes. I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes since our last regularly scheduled meeting.
I'll second.
Motion made by Albert, seconded by Mrs. Pothorsky. Any discussion? Mrs. Pothorsky?
Yes.
Mr. Pan?
Yes.
Pan? Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mrs. Deal?
Yes.
Albert votes yes, passes 5-0. Next, the approval of claims.
I'll make a motion that we approve the claims.
I'll second.
Okay, motion made by Mrs. Pothorsky, seconded by Mr. Watkins to approve the claims. Any discussion? Mrs. Pothorsky?
Yes.
Mr. McMahon?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mrs. Deal?
Yes.
Albert votes yes, passes 5-0. Next, the utilities. MCO, you're on the air.
Right. Biggest item is we continue to work with Bowen and McMahon on the design and planning of the new water plant, the water main project. The 16-inch HDPE water main is it's 100% installed from the correctional center to Valparaiso Street. The land acquisition for the new wells is proceeding. McMahon is they sent out the 60% design for the new water plant. I reviewed it today. We had a meeting with Bowen and McMahon to discuss potential changes, but it looks like it's going to be a very, very good facility. The old main from Valparaiso Street to the old feed store will be abandoned. We were hoping this week. We ran into a little bit of supply chain issues with some of the sales for the water services. So hopefully next week that'll be taken care of. The pavement will be repaired at various locations. We've been getting a lot of calls at the intersection of Valparaiso and Flint Road. Unfortunately, that has to be dug up one more time so we can abandon part of the old line and disconnect. So that's kind of what the issue is with that. So it's extremely complicated and difficult excavation there. So that was it proceeded extremely well. So the old generator from the old wastewater plant, we used it as a temporary at the lift station at the correctional center. We moved to the water plant as a backup to the trailer, the trailer mounted one that's there. It's starting to show signs of its age, so we'll tie that in. The new facility will actually have 2 generators there. They can run dual, or each one will be size large enough to run the facility by itself. We did that at the wastewater plant also, just for more redundancy. I think I said before though, with the new customer, which is by far the largest customer, they're going to be using a lot of water pretty quickly at times. So we don't have the luxury of being able to live off the tower for a very long time. So it's extremely important that the pumps can run whenever there's any sort of emergency situations. One of the other things that we're spending a lot of time with locates. The directional boring is causing us a ton of time. There's some contractors that are very good. Some boring contractors are really good. They call them in a few at a time. You can work with them and that type of thing. We did have a problem last week with a contractor who kept calling them in. We had one section that we failed to locate, but NIPSCO hadn't located their gas or the underground electric. They did put one of the water services actually on the customer side, but they called in a mile and a half locates at their one time. That's extremely difficult. Our staff is not a locating company, so we still have to operate the utility. And going out and locating that probably takes, that section was probably 6 or 8 hours of man time to locate that. So hopefully we can work on that and work on any contractors that come to town. The GIS, Aaron Flowers is going to be taking that over, and he's more familiar with it, so we'll be trying to get more stuff on it. Talked to McMahon about getting the treatment plant and the new water main and to make sure everything's on the GIS. The wastewater plant is about 99% complete. We did get the reuse skid. One of the things that was installed during this upgrade was, instead of using city water for wash down and chemical feed systems and that, we actually will use the effluent. We filter the effluent from the wastewater plant and use that. It could be saving tens of thousands of gallons a day at times. So so that's going to be installed. We had some backup heaters installed, and the final clarifiers were painted from the 2014 project. Unfortunately, they were supposed to have been hot dip galvanized. The galvanizing failed. The clarifier company supplied really didn't stand by the product at all. So as part of this project, they were painted. They were sandblasted and painted, and they were very, very good. I think we'll get at least 20 years out of those. So other than that, that's what we've got.
Okay. Anything else in utilities? Okay. Streets, department head report. Do you have anything, George?
No, I spoke with Bobo. We don't have anything currently at the time other than he wanted to give a thank you to waste removal for supplying a dumpster and the dumping fee for the town spring cleanup. The Westville Methodist Church was unable to come up with one.
Okay, excellent. Well, we have competitors' corner now. We have representatives from Frontier and Comcast here. Since Frontier is on the agenda first, we didn't do a coin toss or anything, so we'll go with Frontier first.
How much time do I have?
About 2 minutes.
2 minutes. If it's really 2 minutes,
We lengthen 2 minutes out.
Okay. All right, so Frontier is with me, by the way, is Todd Payne. He's our construction manager for the state of Indiana. Todd will be meeting with the local public works person to set up a meeting. That's you. Talk about locates. That was very sensitive, it sounded like, and Todd will work very closely with the town to make sure that we're not taxing your resources beyond your capacity. So we find that in all the towns that we're rolling into. My name is Mike O'Keefe. I'm the Vice President of External Affairs for Frontier for Indiana, Michigan, and Ohio. And again, we've had a copper network in place for a lot of years, as you're very well aware. Speeds aren't keeping up. So we're upgrading all of our areas to fiber to the home. And so we do both aerial and buried. Looking at the footprint, we're going to pass about 1,000 customer locations in the town here. And probably about 65% of it is aerial, very customer unintrusive. We basically overlash to our existing copper cables. We already have joint pole agreements with the utility company, or the power company. We have some of our own poles. So that part of it's pretty, easy and not very, customer intrusive. 35% of it's going to be boring. So in some of the neighborhoods, we follow our copper cable path. So for rear easement, front easement, wherever it is right now that we are with copper cables, we basically mirror where our copper cables are in the right of way. So we do set pedestals that are about knee high, much shorter than the pedestals that we have out here for a copper plant. And we set several hubs where our feeder fiber connects to the distribution fibers. You'll see on the prints when we submit when you see the prints where we're going to position those hubs, but we'll work with you certainly if you say we don't want it there, let's move it 50 feet down this way. We don't want it in front of somebody's picture window. Our technicians need it someplace safe where they can pull over. We need to make sure they're in a position where they're not going to get in an intersection run over in the winter, somebody sliding through an intersection. So we'll work with you on the positions of the hub. Thought to tell you, we'll work with you on depth if you need us as far as where we're placing our fiber based on your water and sewer. We generally go 36, right?
I think we print saying 36. We got a little bit of wiggle room.
Yeah.
We can move, you're permitting authority, so if you want us where your water sewer caps are, we can adjust that accordingly. So if you have an idea.
Todd will share, he's got a very detailed construction standards guidelines that he will share with the town, including restoration. And restoration is always a big issue. And as far as customer communications, we use yard signs, we use door hangers. And door hangers have a number on there that goes to an internal Frontier complaints team. They own that from beginning to end. They don't release it until the customer is happy. We're not going to get all the calls. Some calls will come to you because people know you as we're doing our work, particularly on the Berry. Probably not going to get a whole lot of calls in the area, but we do let customers know that we'll be in the backyard or wherever that the aerial facilities are in the right of way. And we track those complaints so we can manage our crews too. So if we see a lot of complaints coming in on a particular crew, Todd, gets them out of here if they don't straighten up. So, what questions would you have for Todd and I?
I don't know, that would be the guy there that has all the questions, or probably 90% of them.
We could probably hammer those out when the biggest thing is locates, and not putting boxes on top of our water main.
So ordinarily, I called the town hall. They wanted to wait till we met with you all tonight. I'd like to do a sit down. That's my vendor and myself. Go over what we do, what you need with the street department or whoever else, code enforcement if you have that, all those kind of people. And I don't know what your calendar is today tomorrow or Thursday.
I don't know either.
By the way, it's a great product. It starts at 200 meg up to 7 gig. And it's symmetrical, so same upload and download speeds. It's a proven product. We've been deploying this in Frontier for about going on 4 years. And I was part of Verizon prior and GT prior to that. But Verizon put fiber all around Dallas, all through Tampa, LA, New York City. The same area, the same company, people who ended up in Frontier built it all over the place. So it's just a great product. It's data and voice only, not TV. We do have a partnership with YouTube TV. I've had YouTube TV in my house for about going on 4 years. Fantastic product. There's Hulu Plus. There's a lot of options now for video. So it's just a very fast data connection with the option for voice and a backup for voice if the customer chooses. If they want to buy a battery backup unit, they can put that in their house. If they have an old phone that's not plugged into the wall, they can still talk if the power's out. So, because a lot of customers are still staying on that copper line because they know, when power goes out, I can still talk on this phone. You can do that with this fiber product. You just have to buy the battery backup unit. So,
What's anticipated start date?
Permitting, I need to look at like Wayne State permits.
Okay.
Might have been submitted. I mean, typically they're running about 60 days. So once we get the approved,
August,
yeah, well,
September, or?
I think we may have July, August timeframe for first turnup. So the way we build, we ordinarily start at the office, kind of work our way out. We build those distributions off the feeders, and then we turn up as we build out.
Okay.
So I like my crews to build the entire feeder route, and then we may put another crew building a couple of distribution or hub jobs off of that at the same time, just depending on, you know, what won't overwhelm your infrastructure and what it can handle.
We generally build in one direction and then take care of it and turn up that and then start like generally build north, south, east, west, right?
Yeah.
So that's typically how the routes go.
1,000 households, our vendors typically turn up 2,000 to 3,000 a month. So we don't want to overwhelm you. So we'll probably stretch it out over a couple of months and kind of go like that.
Okay. So then your main contact person will be Nathan and probably Mark Hale, our street guy.
Yeah.
Probably Charlie, our permit guy.
Yeah, we'll drop off some door hangers, some communication things. If any of your residents come into the office here with anything, you got a place to direct them to. We track those. And, you know, we talk about them every week with the vendor. They got a 48-hour turnaround expectation on those. And occasionally, I like to say they do it perfect, but occasionally a house might get missed on their door hanging, or somebody just might think it's marketing stuff to throw it away. And so you'll inevitably get some phone calls, but I'll give you a contact list for everybody, and you'll have my numbers and my inspector's numbers. I have 2 of them that work this area, and then the vendor contact, which is Cersei USA, is doing the work here. You'll have people to get a hold of if anything was to go happen.
I'm sorry, who was the vendor doing the work? Who was the vendor doing the work?
Cersei.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Cersei.
CIRCET.
Anybody have any questions or?
I do real quick, I won't take a lot of time. Do you guys have independent contractors that are handling your copper networks now, or are you guys still doing that yourselves?
Still doing that ourselves. So anything construction related, if you got a pole, anything like that you're having issues with, or you're not getting a response from, that number to me will work just as well.
I'll get that at the end of the meeting, because all over town, we have a Frontier location here in town, and it seemed like, at one point we had, pretty good attention to the town as far as the infrastructure, but now, like, everywhere you look, you see a copper access box hanging open, and they hang open for weeks. I mean, I've actually put them together myself when they're on my property, because I get sick of looking at them.
Unfortunately, line loss on copper networks, they did that a lot. People moved to a better product.
Sure.
Yeah,
but just the same, you have to look at a box with a bunch of wires in it sitting open on your property.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we used to have a lot more presence in a lot of our markets, but just line loss in the amount of customer trouble tickets or service orders, we just don't have it anymore. So a lot of the things get knocked off, left over by a locator, whatever happens.
Sure.
And, they just don't get cared for.
Right.
But if you have a list of those, we can clean that up.
That'd be great.
Yeah, just to make sure that your boring contractors have to be licensed in town too.
Yep.
So just.
That's good information to have. I'll make sure that happens.
Yeah, and clerk's office can help you get going on with the requirements.
So you need one for, Cersei, and if they sub some boring out, you need one for them.
Yeah, that way we're covered, because if someone goes in haphazard, we just pull their license.
Yeah, so you
That's
need
our leverage.
You just need the license or the COI or both?
We need a COI, that's it. That's a certificate of insurance, and then they'll have to fill out an application.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. A lot of towns we work in.
Okay.
You'll have a Frontier representative on site.
Well, I can't swear they'll be there all the time, but I have 2 that work this area, because we're building multiple communities around here right now. So there's two of them that I have work this area every day, and they're just 5 minutes up the road. So if something was to happen, we can get a hold of them pretty quickly.
So if there was a conflict with an easement, who would be taking care of that? Would that be directly?
Conflict in the what, I'm sorry?
An easement?
An easement conflict?
Yeah, where whoever's doing the bore assumed the easement was here, but it really wasn't. The reason I ask, I'm currently dealing with it in my house. They went through my yard.
Yeah, so what we'll do, and I think the town probably has them, we'll have the friends, they'll show what the platted easement is that our engineering department researched. If there's a conflict on any of that.
Would you be the one to reach out to then, or?
Yeah, you can reach out to me.
Okay.
And I'll get with engineering, we'll do a little more digging, and, we've had to move things because we were wrong. It doesn't happen very often, but it has happened. So, yeah, I mean, I'm the guy, so I don't really get days off.
No, I hear you. Yeah, I was just curious if you were the one that would handle that.
Yeah, I'll get it to the right people.
Okay.
And, obviously, if we can make an adjustment and we're wrong and we're on your property, then, we can do that. It's not,
Okay.
no problem.
It should show in the prints when we issue the prints or build, and it'd be better to know that ahead of time, right? I mean, if whoever's reviewing the prints, if they can call that out, so that, we don't build and have to move it, right? So,
Yeah, well, we have different easements depending on what street and direction. Some are, is it 30, some are 20, I believe.
So your easements kind of vary, or your public
Yes.
right-of-ways kind of vary.
Yes, because a lot of the NIPSCO is all down the alleyway, so that's all back easement. So then when you come to the regular street easement, it wasn't as wide. Most of the water's under the street and that, and so I don't know if it was the assumption that every easement was the same.
Well,
when
that
they came
happens.
through.
And I've seen it happen in other areas. They'll take a whole street and they'll say, okay, we got, 60 from center line or whatever it is. But it may not be 60 from center
Depending on
line
what-
on every
yeah.
house down the street. So
Okay.
it does happen if, your code enforcement, your street guy, or whoever reviews the prints, notices any of that, we can certainly, we'd like to get in front of that now.
I just want to make sure I knew who to reach out to if we did start having those issues, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he puts barbed wire fence up anyway. Not really.
It's only electrified, it's not fire.
Anybody else have a question?
Well, and that's a good point. I mean, if you had, in your residence have private stuff that are in the right of ways, maybe they have a line that runs over the garage or whatever. If, that door hanger, when they see that, that's a good time to call that number. So, we don't damage dog fence, sprinkler system, things like that.
Yeah.
How many different companies are you expecting to have, like, in people's yards?
So ordinarily, we'll have a boring crew, they'll put the path in, and that may be a subcontractor. And then we'll have a pulling crew with an aerial crew, and they'll pull all that in after the path's built. Then we'll have a splicing crew that comes in behind and splices and tests it. That's the last phase.
Are those crews all part of the same?
They're all part of this, they're all part of the service center.
Okay. If there, we can get like, I imagine they've got like standardized vehicles or logos or something.
So the way our requirements, and I'll send that over to the town, is that those trucks are to be labeled with a company name, and it should say authorized contractor from Frontier on the side of that truck.
Okay.
And now, do they do it every time? No. But if you see it, and it's an issue, you just get a hold of me and make sure it happens.
Generally what we do for like the transient versions, it doesn't have to be as detailed for you guys, but like we'll generally send out a picture of who it is going door to door so that they don't have to panic and have an idea of like what car is going to show up in their neighborhood.
Yeah.
Generally eliminate a lot of those calls. Do that so we can try to do something along that lines.
Yeah.
ID to look for.
Those trucks should be marked. They should be marked with, Cersei USA, authorized contractor from Frontier. And, that way somebody looks out, they see somebody hanging out in their front yard, they kind of know what's going on. And then along with that door hanger, another thing we can do, and we do in a lot of places, is let you know when we're gonna be in an area. We can send you a schedule, say, okay, we're gonna be working here today. And we send those out every morning. That way if you get a call, you kinda know what's going on.
Okay.
I do have one question. Will you guys be fixing any yards that you
Yes.
may possibly?
Yeah.
100%. Well, they better be, you know.
I hope.
Yeah.
That's part of that
Get those off.
comprehensive construction plan we
Okay.
have, the restoration is.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, thank you for coming out. Comcast, you're on the air.
You want me to start? Yeah, sure. So, thank you for the opportunity to come in tonight. I want to say a quick thanks to Mike for speaking with us several times over the past few months, helping answer our questions and give some feedback so that when we brought our plans to you, we would have a final product here to show you that had that feedback. So my name is Phil Goodrich. I'm the Manager of Government and Regulatory Affairs for Northwest Indiana for Comcast. I am your best contact, whether it's with this project or anything else with Comcast. So I'll make sure that you all have my contact information after this meeting. Beyond this build, when it's completed, I am the contact for every community in Northwest Indiana for governments and regulatory offices. So anything that you would need during this project or going forward, I'm the person who's there to be the phone to pick up when you need something from Comcast. We're really excited to be proposing this project in Westville. We've had a long history in LaPorte County and many other communities, but have never had the opportunity to provide service in Westville. So we're really looking forward to this project, and I'm going to turn it over to our experts so they can go over some of the other stuff. But this is John. John is our construction specialist, again, here in Northwest Indiana. John and I work out of the same office in Mishawaka. And then we've got Matt with us as well, who's one of our business partners, who will be deeply involved in this project as well. So I'm going to turn it over to John.
Yeah, I'm John Holmes. I'm with Comcast Construction in the South Chicago area in Northwest Indiana. I want to make sure that you were provided a set of plans from our engineering company. Yeah, I thought that's what we're kind of here to answer any questions you might have on that. What we're proposing to do primarily in this initial build in Westville is to focus on the businesses, mainly the alleys north and south of Main Street. We'd be coming in on Valparaiso Street, and then we would be building up and down Flynn Street, and then the south end of town there. Just primarily focusing on that right now. It is a fiber build. And we would be placing pedestals, roughly 12 by 12 peds, and vaults. And our main primary hub for the project would be actually on Valparaiso Street behind us, right there in that park area by the library. Everything would be in the right of way. And I did have a phone conversation with Nathan a while back where, we plan to walk everything out and coordinate. As far as, I know you mentioned the locates at that time, and we'll try to accommodate the best we can on that. Currently, our build, we're anticipating starting probably early June, if all goes according to plan with your permitting process. We already have county and state permits approved. And it's all going to be directional bore, it'll all be underground.
If I remember right, then you said historically what happens is once you run a business feed in, then residential or whatever.
Right,
comes
yeah,
in.
that's probably, down the road.
Yeah.
I think right now, I don't know, franchise-wise, Phil might be able to speak.
Yeah, so you're absolutely right, Mike. So generally speaking, when we're coming into a new community, we start with the business areas, the business districts. We build out our fiber. This is our enterprise fiber. So for many of your businesses, they'll be able to have access to 10 gig symmetrical speeds. It can go much higher than that. It's a very scalable fiber. So I'm not saying this is going to happen, but let's say 5 years from now, Amazon decides to build a data center outside of Westville, our enterprise fiber goes up to 100 gig symmetrical to service those sort of very, very large business projects. But essentially, once that backbone is here and that backhaul is here to our head ends, that makes a future residential build much easier to build out. And so we generally work in that cadence where we build out that backbone to the business district, and then later we can look at building out to the residential areas.
Incidentally, for the information of both companies here, and I think I mentioned it to you when we met, but the state in the future is going to put a roundabout at the north junction of 6 and 421. Exactly where, they don't know. So just a heads up on that, because we relocated the new water, well, we didn't relocate, we got a private easement, we got easements on private property rather than use the state right of way, so we don't have to deal with it when they put a roundabout in. So just giving you guys both a heads up.
And this is Matt Marzak, he's with Hoosier Cable, Carlisle Utilities, they're going to be our main business partner, doing all the underground construction for the project.
Yeah, we're a local company that's been in business for over 30 years. In addition to a type of project like this with new build, we also handle all of the maintenance and repairs. We're the primary contact for emergencies as well. We handle aerial and underground, but in this case, it's going to be all underground. And we will not be subbing this job out. We have about 8 pouring crews in-house, so we can handle that all in-house and won't have the problem of, potential problems of subbing it out to contractors that we are not familiar with.
You'll be talking to Nathan a lot then?
Okay, so you're going primarily, you said down the business district, but you said the alleyways north and south of Main Street?
Correct.
So would those be for residential connection or?
Which is where the post office is, we're going to run down that alley.
Okay, yeah, because you got Walnut. So are you going in the alley between Main and Walnut, or just skipping all the way?
I got to look at the print, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to remember the principles I was looking to see.
There's an alley, probably the alley, there's an alley on the north side of Main, south of Walnut.
South of Walnut.
There is the bottom, very bottom one.
Yeah. There's an alley between Walnut and Main, yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah, on the north side of Main, south side of Walnut.
But, so I guess my question is, on those, is that strictly just for business, or can homes that have that back easement hook up to Comcast as well? Or is that a later?
I think currently we're just going to offer service to the businesses.
Okay.
Was the direction that I was given.
Okay.
But that's always subject to change. I understand. That's like Phil was saying, once we get the main infrastructure in place, it's easy to branch off and pick up some of the residential.
Okay.
Yeah, once that fiber's there, we can add taps. So, if there's a new business or other things that are along there, those decisions can be made, and it's not intrusive to add those things in for other locations once the main lines are in.
Okay.
So Hoosier Cable's the contractor?
Yes.
So we'll just have to register as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we already, like you mentioned, we already have the state and county permits.
Mm-hmm. You'll just have to register as a contractor.
We would have to apply for a power supply permit as well, but that would be the only thing that we would be waiting on in addition to your permit.
It's going to be a busy time this summer.
Yeah.
We like the 21st century built version of the Transcontinental Railroad. Eating food service. Yeah.
Food trucks coming in.
Any questions?
I just wanted to interject real quick. All this technology is great. The council needs to understand with all these things that go into the ground, it forces us when we have water main breaks and that type of thing. I started this business 35 years ago. The only thing you had in the ground was gas, and you had maybe 100 pair, 200 pair of telephone cable. Now you could have literally anything under there. And digging with a backhoe is almost non-existent anymore. You almost can't do it. You've almost got to hydro excavate every, and unfortunately that increases the cost of any main breaks and that type of thing. But just so the council's aware, and it's just nothing, you know, it's just the evolution of the sewer and water utilities with all the great technology that's out there. So, but.
And you're the guy that gets to deal with it.
Yes, we do all right.
Sounds like he's asking for a hot tonight.
No. The hydrovac is my partner. You need the guy that can operate. And that's expensive.
Anything else from either group?
I will say we will, provide you a full contact list of
Okay.
everybody involved. I know Phil can be the main point of contact, but certainly construction-wise, we'll have Hoosier contacts, my contact, and
We thank both of you for coming out. It's a great thing for Westville. People have a lot of different choices and options depending on what works best for them. So it's great to see you both out here. So thank you. And if you have any questions, utility-wise or anything like that, Nathan's your guy. Anything else, town hall, then get a hold of me. You have my contact stuff. But thanks for coming out. I thought we'd have a 4-hour presentation here. Very good. You were very to the point.
Next time I'll bring 18 PowerPoint slides and
that starts at our meeting. We're done well by 8:30, so you can start then and just shut the lights off. We'll come by. Police officers will lock up for you. But thanks to both groups. We do appreciate you. Anything else on streets? Parks?
Nothing.
Incidentally, on parks.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
We met a while back about pickleball courts. And I met or contacted McMahon. They've got the plans for it, and when it started out, we didn't know if them and their subcontractors that do work were going to pick up the cost of everything. And the way it looks now, they will pick up fence, everything. So they'll be complete courts. We won't have to use any funding or anything like that. So there'll be 2 pickleball courts, and the last I heard they were hoping to start in July. But I know Nathan's been practicing. He's trying to get a league going here in Westville. So that's on. I just found that out last night.
I had one question on parks.
Sure.
I noticed the merry-go-round has disappeared at the park. Was that an injury or breakage? I know a lot of people are asking me, is that something that's being replaced?
I don't think it's being replaced because the equipment for the playground is very, very, very expensive. But I don't have a doubt in my mind if Bubba just removed it to see what he could do to fix it, because he's maintained all of that and everything he's tried to put back in. But yeah, that was our favorite too. So
No, I was just checking.
Yeah,
A lot of people have been asking me, so I'll get with Bubba and find out.
yeah, because he's usually good about upcycling things and keeping it around. But if it was on its last leg, it's probably.
I probably should have stopped playing on it years ago.
You overloaded it.
Overloaded the inside.
Anything else on parks? Marshall, it's all yours.
Podium for a spin, I guess. 312 calls for service for April, pulled 11 investigative cases. We have 14 calls for assisting medics, 17 crashes, including 9 injuries, 15 disturbances, 14 suspicious activities, 90 traffic stops, and 8 reckless drivers. The F-150, I got a call today about that. Parts are in for Berdines to get the repairs done for body damage, and Bartronics has the lighting equipment on order, so hopefully they'll mesh right together and we'll go from one to the other and get the truck back in service. My issue Durango is still in the dealership for engine issues. So I got it back and then the engine issue and then right back home. So we'll see how that plays out. That is all I have. give it over to.
Mopar definitely doesn't mean go far, does it?
It seems to be the 2023 Hemis specifically.
Yeah.
I don't know what's different between the years on.
State police had a bunch of them that went
A
bad.
Hemi engine for a Durango was a Hemi engine for a Durango. I wouldn't think that they redesign those every year that they have Durango, so I don't know what the difference is.
Was it losing antifreeze issue? Is that what?
It is now.
Okay.
So initially I had the same thing state police had. It was the oil mixed into the coolant,
Okay.
blowing out the coolant reservoir. And then I got it back, and within a week it was spraying antifreeze and making sounds that it should not be making. So
Perfect.
they've had it back for that for I think a little over a week now, and I haven't heard from them. So that's but it sounds good.
Maybe they'll give you a hopped up engine in there.
We'll see.
Right.
And I'll give it to-
Honorable members of the council, builder, Eric Riders, my fellow colleagues and people on YouTube. I am excited and honored to announce Patrick Guido for our 64th, our newest member. Patrick, you like to come up here and say some words?
I'm Patrick Guido. I know some of you. I grew up in Westville, spent a few years gone, recently moved back. I was excited to start working for the town. I work 2 to 10 at the sheriff's office, so you'll most likely see me like this. I also raise a 2-year-old son. He's the most mischievous toddler I've ever seen, so if you catch me before work, I probably look like a homeless guy chasing a midget. Just, I apologize ahead of time. So that's what my life consists of. Any questions about me?
We better know he's good.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
I saw you out running the other day, but you weren't chasing a 2-year-old. You must just been doing that voluntarily.
I was chasing my sanity.
Oh, okay.
It's safe in there. He does.
Welcome. Thank you for doing this. Anything else on police? Finance?
The clerk's office would like to reinstate Stacy's 5K crossing guard pay to cover additional responsibilities she's taking on.
$2,500.16.
$2,500.16.
Sorry.
Thank you.
I was like, oh.
What's in the salary that's current?
That's in the salary ordinance, and that's back from the
Yeah, she stopped doing crossing guards, so we quit paying from the general fund for that, but I did create a new job position for her. It's gonna take a lot of time, so I'd like to just reinstate that back into her pay.
You need a vote on that, or?
You just, if you all, you know, it's already in the ordinance.
Okay, it's already good.
So I just want to let you know this.
Now it's in the minutes.
Now it's in the minutes.
Yeah, that's official. Yes.
Miscellaneous, fire department report, citizens' comments. Anything else to come before the council? I will make a motion that we adjourn.
I second.
You're right on top of that one, aren't you?
I'm here for you.
Very confident. I'll make a motion that, Albert made the motion, seconded by Mrs. Pothorsky to adjourn. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Being none, meeting adjourns at 7:43.
A little more excitement.